All right, everybody, how y'all doing? Welcome back to Dead Spot Podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I got my guy Zach with me tonight, episode 15. Thanks for tuning in. Zach, what's going on with you, man?
What's going on, my brother? How's everything going, man? Appreciate you for having me on.
Hey, man, I appreciate you coming. I know we've been trying to get it together, so I appreciate you sliding through.
Yes, sir. Anything for you, brother.
Hey, so what we're going to be doing is, y'all, we're going to talk a little football. We're going to talk some business. We're going to talk some fatherhood. We're going to get into it all. But let's start. As true Niner fans, we got to get into it. So we took the L this Sunday night. How you feeling about the game?
Man, we did take the L, but there's a lot of lessons that I took away. I think when people understand it's too early in the season to kind of like get a hold of where we're at. It's a long season. But some things that I kind of took from that, man, is just like, we were down. We're down 17. So what it showed me is that we could come back.
Right.
That's huge. That's gonna come later down the road, right? So that was huge. Coming back, the final drive. I know, Aaron Rodgers scored that last touchdown on us, but it showed me a lot for Jimmy G to come down and drive. So that was a bright spots for me. Definitely seeing Trey Lance out there was kind of a bright spot. What we can kind of build on. Yeah. I'm satisfied. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. That team, that Packers team went to back NFC championships. They're a really solid team. A lot of things we got to work on too. I'm not, our defense, it was consistent. Kyle Shanahan, missed the play, but at the end of the day, man, we almost won the game with 30 seconds left. Like, what more could we ask for? We lost to the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah. My only few takeaways from Jimmy just be like he'd be playing good, and it'd be a little small mistake, like him fumbling, like he got this fumbling problem, like, bro. I don't know what it is. Like, if he don't fumble right there, because we was driving, I think we was like on the Green Bay 44. Even if we could get down there, you know what I'm saying? We was up. Was we up at the time? I think even though it was tied.
Tied, yeah, it was tied.
Tied at the time. We could go down there and score right there. That would have been huge. So, like, you fumble, and then, like you said, Aaron Rodgers, the best quarterback or top two, you can't get him mistakes like that. Like, quarterbacks like him, Mahomes, Tom Brady, like, when you get them extra chances, you know what it is. It's over. So, it's like, them little mistakes, and then even like they was talking about, it was 37 seconds on the clock, and he had the play clock was at 12 seconds. He could have drove it down a little bit more. We still had some timeout, and that's what I be thinking. It's like, bro, you like what, year 5, year 6? Like, these is like rookie second year mistakes that I just thinking, like, that's why it's like with Trey. If Trey was making them, okay, he a rookie, we still coaching him up, Kyle, get him in the film room. But it's like, Jimmy, I need just them small things, and you a coach, like, yeah, small things win and lose games, man. Like,
no, for sure. No, you 100% right there. Talking about, like, he's a veteran. He won Super Bowls before. He's backup quarterback. He's been in the Super Bowl. He lost, so he should be able to make those plays. But what I see, I honestly just look at him as that vehicle. He's like that Honda that's just gonna get us through.
Yeah.
And I just think of him as that Honda. Now we got that Lamborghini in the garage,
right?
Sitting there ready. He's ready.
Right.
He just getting, we tuning it up, man. So, when think about football too, man, it's all about, like, you got to prove, right? You got to actually take it. All of us fans, we all know Trey Lance is better. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We know that. Like, we all know he should be started. But the way, the league, old school, you got to work your way up there, do this. So that's how Kyle Shanahan is, man. And that's how high school football coaches, that's what all coaches are, really, depending on their style. So I like where we're at, because now Trey gets to see it in a different perspective, right? It's gonna open it up. So let's say Jimmy G gets hurt, or this inconsistency still happens week 6, 7, 8, 9. I guarantee Kyle Shanahan is gonna cut the plug.
So do you like the way they're using Trey right now, like inside the 5? Like, because pretty much what they telling Jimmy is, bro, we don't trust you in these small, tight windows, bro. We don't, you're not doing it when it get tight. So they bring them in inside the 5. In the last, like, 2 games, they didn't did it. Or bring him in, like, at first it was like they were going to use him like Lamar. I was getting worried. But I don't know. Like, how do you feel about how he been used these 3 games?
Well, I just think that it's a long season, so we don't want to show too much. Like, we dominated the first 2 games. There's no point in throwing him out there, really. I mean, when we did throw him out there, it was successful.
Right.
So I like, in Kyle Shanahan's view and our view, is like, okay, good. We know he can make plays. So I really believe when, that, like, if we got blown out on yesterday on Monday, I think it'll be a different conversation today. I'll be talking like, okay, now we may see Trey come early. But we only lost by 1. There's still mistakes. I fully believe we're getting him ready for the playoffs. just in case, because now that's gonna push Jimmy G. Because once we cut Jimmy G off there,
Go back.
we can't go back.
Might as well trade him at that point.
Must. So I think they're writing him out just to see. Because look, what if he continues to dominate? Trading deadline is weekend, now whatever it is. Now he's a hot commodity.
Right, for sure.
So like now we got like, so I know as fans we look at it like, man, we got to get Trey Lance out there, but we got to understand this is a business.
Yeah, for sure.
So that that's my take on that, man. Just I like how they're using him. I just think they're saving something for him. They're saving something.
Okay. So let's move on from the Niners. Let's just talk overall league. Like, what's a team or two you done seen these first 2 weeks that's like, man, they really looking good, or who you feeling right now?
Man, okay, I'm so in the NFC. They in our division. Our division is the best division, hands down.
Right.
For the past 5-8 years since we was in high school, man. So they've been past 10 years. They've been in the top division. I really, really, really like the Rams with Matt Stafford there.
Yeah.
he's perfect fit for that offense. They got a good synergy going on top of their defense. They got the best 2 defensive players in the league, right? With Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. So they got the back end, they got the on the front end. So I really like the Rams. I'm not scared of them, but I really think they're a really contender. I think we could compete with any team. But then on the AFC, I'm really, really, really liking the Cleveland Browns for some reason.
Really?
I don't know what it is. They got the style play. I think they got a swagger to them right now. They could definitely get after the quarterback with those 2 DNs, and they could pound the rock. Yeah. And those things count in December and January. So I definitely like those 2 teams.
And so then with Baker, is he good enough? So let's say Odell didn't look too bad first week back. He looked better than I thought after all, as long as he's been out. So let's say Odell continue to, let's not say he gonna be but let's say he pretty good with the backs and all of that. Do they got enough with Baker to get to the Super Bowl?
I think the way they play, they do.
Okay.
Because I honestly think their coaching is pretty awesome, man. Their head coach is doing a really great job for Minnesota, and then the defensive coordinators from the Niners. He was the DB coach. So I think they got good coaching there. On top of that, the players that they're adding. I don't know, right? I can't tell you that. Like, I think that's something that Baker's gonna have to figure out. But I think the way that their system, their styles playing, I think that could go into January and February, the way they play.
Okay. Reason I asked that because I just wanted to touch on, because it was a topic they were talking about earlier with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs most people think is the favorite, but do they look a little too cocky to you? Like, do they look like I don't know. Like, it just seemed like the no looks is cool when it's work, but you got people wide open and you throwing no look. Like, what do you think? I don't know. What you think about them?
I think the way I'm looking at the Chiefs, they're like they're like the Brooklyn Nets. Mm-hmm. They got all the top talent. They can turn it on and off whenever they want, and they know that. And I think that's what they carry every single game. They know that they can turn it on, turn it off. Now, last week they couldn't turn it on a good Chargers team that's in their division,
right?
So that's gonna catch them eventually. That will catch up to them because this league is picking up and catching on to what they're doing. But at the end of the day, man, they got one of the top tight ends, one of the best quarterbacks, one of the fastest players in the league, man, and the best, and a good head coach. So that's their problem. They try to turn it on, turn it off when they can, and this league is getting better.
Yeah, I think that's more like a hoop thing. Like, it's more games. Like, you can't really do that in football. You'll get blitzed. Like, it's not really, you could lose. Like, and in the playoffs, it's only one game and you out of there, so it's a whole different. Like, let's say with the Warriors or someone, they would dominate. They know they could lose a game to the Clippers or whoever one time, and it's still going to be a 5-game series or whatever.
Yes.
So, I don't know. So, I mean,
I feel you. No, that's a good point. That's an amazing point that you said, though. Because, like, this is not the NBA, but their mentality is because the way they can throw the ball with Patrick Mahomes, they're looking at him like Stephen Curry, he could just shoot a 3, and then now everybody's on fire. That's how I feel like they look at him.
And they still almost want, like, they are one of the best team for a reason. Like, but it's just like, I don't know, like, maybe 2 losses, maybe that'll help get them back on track. Cause I don't know. Cause
they just picked up Josh Gordon too. So that's another threat.
If he even get halfway right, it's over, man. Oh my God.
100%. You're right.
Right now going into it. So right now we 3 weeks in, it's still early, but if you have to give me a way too early, like top 3 MVP, What's the update
Oh,
right now?
oh, that's a good question. Top 3 MVP. Okay, this could surprise you. This could surprise, man. I really like it. I don't like the team, but this guy's doing his thing. I'm gonna say Derek Carr, man. He is really carrying the team with the Raiders. I think 2 games ago they barely had over 50 yards rushing, and they still beat whoever they beat. I don't know. I forgot what game it was, week 2, but Steelers exactly. But they still end up winning because of Derek Carr. So I like Derek Carr, number 1. Matt Stafford could be up there.
Yeah.
He's tearing it up, and I guess right now we gotta go with the reigning MVP, Aaron Rodgers. So I think that would be my 3, man. Just kind of seeing it from afar.
Okay.
But yeah, what you think? Who you got?
I agree. So my top 3 right now, like you said, we don't fool with the team. You see the wall, but Derek Carr, he killing right now.
He is.
They 3-0. I know last week they beat the Dolphins, but this is football. Any game you could get had, so they still pulled it out.
Mm-hmm.
I think he got 1,200 yards through 3 games. That's nasty.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
He got like 1,208 yards or something. Only I think he got 2 picks, so he in the lead for me. Matthew Stafford just took over second. Yes, beating Tom Brady. I had to give it to him. And then third, I was kind of going back and forth between Tom and Kyler. But since Tom took the loss, Kyler's still undefeated right now. I know he got a couple bad turnovers. I think he got 4 picks right now. But what he doing is still dynamic enough. Like without him, they wouldn't be 3-0. And I'm not even the biggest Kyler fan, but I've been watching the games. Some of the plays he's making is amazing right now. So it'll be him third with
like
Tom Brady, Lamar.
I missed that. How did I miss Tom Brady? That's my fantasy quarterback. He's doing his thing.
Yes, he's still leading. I think he's leading the league in touchdowns and second in yards behind Carr. But he took the L yesterday, so it's kind of like. But if he would have won yesterday, he'd probably be number 1 right now.
For sure. No, 100%. 100%.
Yeah.
I like a list.
Yeah, but Derek, well, we'll see. Like I tell all my Raider friends, we in the little group chat.
Uh-huh.
They started 6-2 the last 2 seasons, and they make the playoffs either year. So I don't know.
I'm 100%. I'm with you because I'm with you. They know how to start off hot and and then fall off. But I am really liking the way I'm hearing him speak. Like every time they have an interview, it's like you can hear the passion in it, man. Like you can really hear this is sincere. So like that could go a long way. That could outdo. That could go from 6-0 to 8-0 to 10-1. So we'll see. It's gonna be a good year for them.
So right now, on wax, Raiders to the playoffs.
Oh man, that's a hard division. They got the Chargers, Chiefs. Man, right now, you know what?
What you just seen?
You know what? From what I see, because I know the Chiefs are going to be in for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So if they're going to be one, I do think they have the edge right now, the Raiders, over the Chargers because of Derek Carr.
Okay.
Even though Justin Herbert is nice, this is his second year. I'm going to go with experience with Derek Carr, the way he's playing it, win the game over Justin Herbert. So I would say the Raiders will be.
So only 2 out the division going to the All-Star. They're not getting 3.
They not gonna get 3 because then you got the Dolphins and the Dolphins and the who else is in that other division? The Bills. So they may make some noise. And you got the Steelers and you got Steelers and the Ravens. That's 2 in that division. Right. And then the Tennessee and the Colts. So like it's a good year of football, man. This is a good year to watch football. I would tell you that.
My 3 teams was. Who did I have? I had the Browns. I had the Ravens winning the division, Browns to the wild card.
See.
I had Miami to the wild card, but now with Tua missing some games and stuff, and I don't really know. They kind of looking a little
shaky.
And then who else I had? I can't even remember. Oh, and the Chargers. I picked the Chargers. So
that's a good pick. That's a good pick. It's a wild card.
But it's gonna come down to it though. But that was a big win this week against the Chiefs. So we'll see.
That was a big game. That was a big win. But again, the Raiders, I'm gonna give it to Derek Carr right now, just the experience. So I'll give them in. All the Raider fans, all the Raider fans, I'll give it to y'all.
All I'm gonna say to Raider fans is this is the 5th or 6th Niner that came on my podcast and then said y'all was going to the Offs and then showed some love. So don't be saying we don't show love when it's time to show love. We didn't both even pick the man for MVP right now.
You're right. That was hard to say. That was hard to say too.
Man, but you keep it real. You know what I'm saying?
We do.
So now, I mean, shoot, going out of, let's transition a little bit.
Okay, I'm with it. I'm listening.
My man. So look, man, you know, you're doing your thing right now. You got your business going. You doing all your thing with the fam. Like, you know, kind of let's get into it. Just tell us a little bit about what all you got going on.
Man. Well, so actually, if you guys don't know, I'm an entrepreneur. I think I started always from when I was a kid, man. I was thought about being my own boss. And that's something that I kind of wanted to stick with. School wasn't for me, you know, but I knew I wanted to make an impact. So I kind of started with the coaching. That's how I kind of got it into everything with coaching. My main mindset was kind of bring back to the city, man. I think this was missing. There's a lot of great AAU programs, the SF Rebels, and then for the girls in Mission Rec. So there was always something for basketball for the city kids.
Yeah.
But then growing up, it was like nothing really for football as far as, you know, we had the good Pop Warner teams, but I'm talking about like training, working out. So I think that was my first mindset as being an entrepreneur. Like, okay, how can I get back to the city, man? So that's kind of where I started with everything, Dev. Like, you know, how do I make an impact as an entrepreneur giving back? So I knew my specialty was football, okay? And I know I could teach that. It was easy. So that was my main mindset getting into business. You know, how do I get a kid, you know, develop them and help them get to the next level? And so that's where I started, Dev, to be honest with you, 5 years ago. Yeah, I actually made my way. I kind of crawled my way to the coaching ranks. It was kind of crazy. I started off as a strength and conditioning coach under Coach Poise, as an intern, just, you know, helping out with the girls volleyball any way I can. And then 1 year, Ken Peralta, who was a football coach there, was like, you know, they're opening the position on varsity for DB. So I jumped on it. And my mindset was to get up there so I could be around our kids.
Right.
Kids that you and I could relate to. And you know, being from that school. So that was the mindset there. That's why I started entrepreneur. Okay, now I could get in. How can I train the kids? So that's kind of where the business thing started, and it was amazing, man. Like I was doing it for 5 years. Helped one kid, made Evan Brandt Chains go to University of Arizona. From Sacred Heart, and then there's other kids, you know, that are right now moving up. So that was a cool experience, Dev. So just kind of, you know, starting it, my entrepreneur with coaching, and how can I get back to the city,
right?
And you know, bring my assets to help the next generation. So that's how that kind of.
And as far as the training, because like I mean, I witnessed a few like that, you know, as far as the challenge you had with Coach Black and stuff like that. Like just talk a little bit like how did stuff like that come together with other people from the city that that came like that. How did all of that come together where it's like-minded people,
man,
getting out there and, you know, working it out?
Well, that was an excellent question, because one thing I know, man, you can't do this alone. You know, I think that was something I learned early on. I try to be, I could do this all on my own, man. I could do this. I could take all these kids, and it's, you know, it's me doing this. And that was me young and early. So, but what I realized is, man, you need a whole farm. You know, you need a whole community to help these kids out.
Right.
So my mindset, you know, like last year, it was kind of crazy because that's when my whole athletic business took off, because nobody was training during the pandemic.
Right.
And it was just literally me. So I started doing these videos, and I was like, how can I maximize what was going on? So that's why I started reaching out to these coaches, man. I reached out to Coach Black. I know he's tied in with a lot of great programs. Bear, and you know, Kel, amazing, one of my aces in this coaching ranks.
Sure.
So we got kind of put our mindsets together, and the main goal was like, okay, what can we do? What strengths can we bring to help these kids get attention?
Right.
And I think that was the biggest thing. Like, okay, to set up a 7-on-7, a 1-on-1, or 2-on-2 drill, and just kind of put video cameras and just give them some shine, man, because these kids work hard, but we got to give them an environment so that they can actually show their skills. So that was the mindset there. That's how I got connected with Black and them, because it was like, all right, how can I'm doing something well now. How do I elevate it to another level? And that's how I got kind of connected with that.
And that's just to touch on. I just want you to touch on that because, like you said, man, like your early mindset was I could do it all by myself. I feel like a lot of minorities feel like that. Like if I help somebody else, that might take away from my chance of getting out of this bad situation. But like you said, we could all do better if we work together. Like I just be always wanting to preach the togetherness, however we could help, like however we could come together, whatever they look like. But us together is way better than us separate. So that's just always always on the move.
Like that. 100%. That's a good quote too. you need to quote that.
But let's see. So as far as the business you in now, so you know, life insurance, that's what you on right now. And that's one of the biggest problems I feel in our communities is people don't have life insurance. Like people don't Like I see you talk about all the time the GoFundMe's, the this and that, like not really having a long-term plan. Like too many of our people is living in the day and not the 50 years from now. So like a little bit on that.
Man, 100%, man. I just well, I'm in like in the financial services, which has been amazing, man. Kind of start my own agency. You know, got our office over here in Concord, but about to open one in downtown this end of this year, man. So excited. But yeah, just kind of just talking about that. And what I love about what I do is I kind of teach specifically the middle and low income class America about finances, about what they're not teaching us in school. It's crazy because like we don't know about it, but there's a reason for it.
Right.
They don't want us to know how to protect ourselves. I just seen a quote. Why is it required to have car insurance, but we don't have life insurance?
Right. Facts.
So no, why is that? That's a huge problem to me, right? Because you could replace a $40,000 to $50,000 car, but you can't replace a father of 4 kids. You can't replace a mom that's bringing in $100,000. How do you replace that? You don't. And that's why you see the GoFundMe. So man, that's why I kind of got started into just last year during that whole transition with the athletic business, man. I kind of saw an opportunity where I could kind of, you know, make an impact in both areas. And I got into the financial service industry, started my own agency. And now my main objective is just to teach people about creating generational wealth, man, protecting their assets, you know, growing their income, protecting their kids. And, you know, how do you save money? How do you prevent debt? How you get rid of debt? You know, everything that they need to teach in school, Dad.
Right.
Imagine if they taught that at Wash. Imagine if they taught that at Sacred Heart. Where would these kids be when they turn 18, 19, 20?
Facts. Because like I look at it now, like me and my fiance, like now we know about like all of the different things. We got insurance, we got this, we got like our kids got insurance, they got stock, they got all type of different things that's helping them out. But like we just found out about this in the last, let's say 2-3 years. I'm 26, so like 23. Imagine if we knew at 17. We've been together since 17. Like imagine we've been building this for our 9 years instead of just 3 years of it. So like you said, man, these kids gotta know. Like we gotta get like I'm gonna probably invite you to talk to the kids at Bow just about
I'm ready.
Since you in there, because like they need to know. Like they need to know what it look like, what is long term. Because and we can't even really blame a lot of our parents because they wasn't taught.
No.
So it's like I be telling people, they be like, damn, my mom ain't teach me that. Nobody taught her. So like this is where we know the game now. We giving it to you. Now you go teach it to your mom. Like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no shame in her at 50 or whatever learning this stuff that we know now.
100% what you just said, I think, because that's what I do, man. Because people don't want to talk about life insurance. You kind of said in the beginning, they don't want to talk about that because it's kind of like a subject they don't want to, touch on. But in reality, it's reality.
Yeah.
Right. Because if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, then what? Right. If I don't have anything, that's what we go fund me. So the biggest thing about what I do, I like to teach people. I don't ever try to sell anything to nobody. I think that's the difference, man. Like I don't give a damn about, that $500 I'm gonna make on one sale. That doesn't really matter to me because I'm gonna get that eventually. My main thing is how can I protect you for $300,000, $500,000? So if something does happen to you, your kids are taken care of. Or your wife is taken care of, or your mortgage that you owe $500,000 that's taken care of, right? So those are the things we don't think about, but everybody wants to, think about the big stuff, the luxury stuff that's today, what can impact today, but they don't understand that's going to be gone in 10 years, 20 years, 15 years if we don't do the right thing.
Right. And what you got to look at it, the way I look at it is like, me and my fiance, we got 2 kids. We got all these plans, we want to own property, we want to own businesses, we got all this stuff that we saving to do right now. But if I die tomorrow, that all of them dreams don't just go away, like, or all them dreams, like, I expect Angie to still be like everything we've talked about, everything we've worked out. You're gonna cry for me, you're gonna be down for me, but at some point, you got to get up and make our dreams come true. Like, you know what I'm saying? Our kids still got to eat. Devin and Deshaun, they still got to go to college. They still got to, if they can need braces one day, like that, stuff like that don't stop because I passed away. Like they got to eat every day. So everything that we talk about is building for if one of us wasn't here. And like you said, it's uncomfortable conversation, but it's mandatory. Like it's things that everything that I think, I make sure she know. Like, hey, but I was thinking about this idea. Like, write that down somewhere, or just things like that. So in case something do happen, our kids don't have to bear even more than losing a parent. That's gonna be tough enough.
Man, that's good that you said that. Check this out, Dev. You remember the guy from Friday? I think it's Ezel.
Yeah.
the wife, Ezel is celebrity. We all know Ezel, crackhead Ezel, right? Celebrity. His wife was just on TMZ asking for money.
Right.
And that's a celebrity though. That's a celebrity. Everybody knows it. Imagine how many regular people in our city
is in that
same situation.
Crazy. And he'd have been in movies that you could recite his every line almost.
Every line. Smoking out, taking the shit,
Yeah, like in this real life out here, man. In these funeral homes, they getting over, they taxing, they taking advantage of people's tragedies and all of that. And you know how it go. It's just a lot to it. So it's just like, and even with the GoFundMe, like realistically, how much are you gonna get with a GoFundMe? Like, depending on how many people you might get some thousands, but you're not gonna get no hundreds of thousands of dollars as no regular person.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got a lot of people that care about me, but they gonna give Angie $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 if I pass away. I just don't think that's just not living in the real world.
Nah, man, that's a great ass point, because like, I'm gonna be honest, when I see GoFundMes, I don't like seeing GoFundMes. And it's not because I don't want to help. It's because that person made a decision. We all got a decision to make, right? Am I gonna take care of what I have to be now? See, the life insurance is not for us. It's not for you, right? You getting protected. It's not for you. It's for your fiance. It's for your two boys. It's for their kids.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what we don't look at. I had a client, man, one time she said straight up, like, man, if I die, my kids are gonna have to figure it out. And I'm like, damn, that was one of the most ignorant statements I've ever heard. Like, why would you
feel like I got it out the mud, so my kid got to get it out the mud? Like, come on.
But they didn't even get it out the mud. They still in the mud.
Right. Like, I don't know. That stuff be frustrating. And I work in school, so like I hear parents all the time, and I'd be like, yeah, so what do you think we could do about? Hey, look, they almost 18. Like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they got nothing to do with. And it's like, no, that's not the mindset. Like, we got to get out of that. Like, you had these kids, and it's like they gonna make their own decisions, but do your best to try to give them some guidance. That's really what you can do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things that you got to teach them if you know it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
You want them to be better. Like, I don't want my kids to just do what I'm doing or be less than me. It's not. I want them to be better. And like you said, even for your grandkid, like, that's why my son's got life insurance. It's not for them. My life insurance is for them. That's for our grandkids. Because that's how a lot of these other races that have money, they do. The grandparents are taking care of their grandchildren and putting money away and making sure the next generations is taken care of. That's how you kind of create generational wealth, I feel like. Like, that's at least a step towards it.
100%. Hey, something's better than nothing. Damn, I'm gonna tell you a story real quick before you move on to the next subject. Man, I just protected. So I brought on somebody to come work with me. She got protected. She could only afford $25 per month, and that's okay. Whatever you could. Active policy is better than no policy, right? So check this out. She was working with us. She had her policy for about 10 months. So only for $25, which is amazing. She ended up passing a couple months ago due to COVID. So she only put in $319 for 10 months. Now I am about to deliver a check of $25,000 to her family tax-free.
Wow.
And she only put in $300. Imagine what that's gonna do for that family.
Right.
And they even had to go for me. They didn't even know that she had a life insurance policy. We reached out to them like, look, she protected herself.
Right.
She did the right thing, and now like it kind of changed her perspective and stuff.
And that was only 10 months, you said.
10 months.
See, man, it's just, we got to get into it. We got to learn these stuff, people. Like, we got to have a conversation. We got to do what we got to do for our kids. We can't have kids that did not do what we can to protect them. You don't want to, like, if you just want to be out here by yourself and, oh, forget it, if I just die, I'm just going to go lay in the ditch. Cool. But once you start having kids and trying to get married and doing all these things and bringing other people into your circle, you have to protect them people. That's what the game is. Like,
for sure. Hey, no, and so check this out. Even if you don't have kids or married, if you got debt and you single, you better get life insurance.
Yeah.
That $150,000 school debt that you're in, that don't go away when you die, even if you're 20, 21, 22. That still gets passed on.
So talk about this. So if you don't have any kids, or if you're not married or something like that, and let's say you owe $200,000. This is a good question.
Yeah, great question.
Where would this go to? Like, where do that debt get passed on to?
It gets transferred. So it'll get transferred to, I would say, the parents if they're alive, it's getting transferred to somebody, whoever is the closest one to their family. It don't just go away.
Okay.
Like that $200,000 is still there. Like, if I have debt right now of $50,000, I die tomorrow. If I don't have life insurance, that $50,000 is going to go to, my kids.
Right.
So that's why we always set up things up so that you take care of the debt where you don't have to cover that, or the mortgage, or a $50,000 car bill that you still have to owe, right? So those little things like that will add up, that will continue to, put you in debt if you don't take care of it, if something, God forbid, happens to you.
Okay, so not only are you putting them in a situation by having to bury you, you also leaving them with your debt that now somebody in your family got to take care of, and you're not even here to even help out with that. So just think about all these things.
Yeah, that's a great question, though. Great question.
Moving through. So now let's talk about the most important thing. Like let's let's get into fatherhood. I mean, I know we've known each other since I was freshman, sophomore. We was young. Yeah. Now we grown. We got kids. Like, how has that changed your life? Like, what has that done for you?
Oh man, it changed my perspective. I feel like it needed to happen. I think, growing up, and you know me, like you just said, you know me from middle school, out of high school, man. I was just kind of like about me, varsity on freshman basketball, varsity on football. So I kind of got that embedded, and going to cigar is like, you can really feel yourself there, right? And I was young, didn't have guidance, growing up a single mom, so I feel like I'm on top of the world, like living a superstar lifestyle. So I was all about me early on, and I think when I first had my daughter, it was like, man, okay, now there's somebody else I got to look after. It's not just about me. I can't still make those same decisions that I used to make, man. And so that's kind of what kind of helped me out, Dev, is just kind of like knowing that there's somebody else that's looking up to me that I got to provide for, that is counting on me. I'm so used to having my teammates count on me, during the game. I'm so used to having a friend count on me, but I'm never having somebody that looks like me, that has my same blood, that is looking up to me, saying, hey, I need some diapers, I need some formula, I'm hungry, all the great things, as that it takes to be a dad. So it's like, okay, great, I gotta be in a different position, I gotta elevate, I can't still be at that same level, I gotta think bigger. Right. I can't think how I thought when I was 21, 22, 19. I can't think like that. I got to put my position right now. I'm 27. I got to think how I would be if I'm 40 right now, so that when I do get 40, how can I get, when I'm 60, how I'm going to be living? That's how I'm thinking right now. That's the mindset. It's like, okay, how do I set myself today for the next 10, 15 years, 20 years?
And then another thing that you touched on, and this is a question that I like to ask people, when people ask me, I'm like, you had a single mom, and I know you and your mom super close. Like, every year, even on Father's Day, mom getting a shout out every year, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, not having that father figure in your life, like, where did it come from? Because it's like, bro, you like you do your thing, you're in your daughter's lives. I see you on there, you every day with it. So like, where did it come from to be like, I'm gonna be different?
Okay, I think it all started, man, I'm growing up in Excelsior, went into the Boys and Girls Club. I think it all started there. My mom used to drop me off early. I used to stay there from literally 8-9 hours a day to the close, or when open till close. So being around older folks, in the city, that's how I kind of, know everybody in the city from the Boys and Girls Club, sports. So that kind of helped me, guide me, knowing that I do have people that, will care about me, even though they're not my dad. Like, I had a guy named Tone. Everybody knows it from Excelsior Boys and Girls Club, kind of just took me under his wing and was that father figure for me early on. So, and I still got a good relationship with him today. I still say what's up, pops, and all that stuff. But that's where it started at the club. And then as I got older, it was like, okay, and this is where I kind of changed, just kind of this past couple of years. I was holding on to that. I was holding on to not having a dad. And even though that was my fuel, for the past, since I was born, since I was a kid, like, okay, I don't have a dad, I could do without him. That still was inside of me. So, and as I don't know if you went through this, but like, when you don't have a dad, like at times when it could get to you, and it could turn south. And then you can hold on to that. So that's what it was at for me. It's like, okay, great. I don't have a dad, I could do this on my own. But then when something goes wrong, I want to be negative and blame that I don't have a dad.
Right.
And that's something I had to switch quick. because that was killing me. So I had to kind of just move on from it and accept it that, my dad didn't want to be here. It's okay.
Yeah.
I had to accept that. And once I did accept that, life has been beautiful. Now, how can I be the best dad for my girls?
Right.
I think that's the narrative I switched. Like, okay, great. My dad wasn't there for me. He was never there for me. Never went to the games. Never saw me. But how do I not be that? How do I not do that for my girls? And so now every time my girls have a game, I'm there. I ain't missing that, right? Because I'm gonna be at their game, make sure I am there, because I'm in that position to do that now, where I could manage to work and be there. So it's like, okay, what can I do and teach my kids that my dad didn't teach me?
Right. That's dope. Because for me, man, like, I don't know, I just always grew up like, that's why I want 6 kids. Like, I want a big family. Like,
hey, you said 6. I said 6 too, bro.
Yeah. I'm trying to do it 2 every few years. We got 2 in 18 months. We trying to wait a few years. 2 more. We gonna get it going. But it was just always like, I just remember them feelings, like, looking up to the game, and it's like, it was like you said, there was a lot of father figures there. Shout out Edward Lampkin, his dad like took me in. He came to every game. He'd take me home. We go take us out to eat, criticize us on what we did right, what we did wrong. Like, even when I got in trouble at SH, like, he came and took me and like really set me down and let me know like where I messed up and like what I should have did better. So like, people like him I really appreciate. But I just remember looking up and being like, damn, like, where my dad at? Like, this dude dad here, this dude dad there. Like, and like you said, bro, we've been playing sports since we was little. My dad I'd have played in over 1,000 sporting events. He ain't never been to one. So I remember that. And like, our moms was there, always around, you know what I'm saying? So I remember feeling like, oh, at least my mom here. But I don't want my sons to ever feel like, damn, oh, at least my mom here. Like, that's not a feeling that they can ever have as long as I'm breathing. So it's like, I just really salute all of the young dads, because like, I feel like our generation is doing like, and it's not like something we should be getting praised, because this is what we're supposed to be doing. But I don't really see a lot of guys, at least I don't know too many like deadbeat dads right now. Like, when we was growing up, that was kind of like, if you had a dad, it was kind of like, damn, you got your daddy, like, okay, cool. He'd be around every day, like. But now it's like everybody, like, I don't know, like, I got friends that do all type of illegal stuff and they go home and be with their baby, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the new norm now.
No, that I love that you said that's 100% right, because now that you said that, I'm thinking about all the homies that we do. They do their dads. They are there for the kids. But like, this is how I'm looking at the next generation after us. It's the same thing that we live with.
Yeah.
Like, dads in and out, in a different way. So it's like, all right, because you around kids, right? I'm pretty sure you around all the kids, single moms.
No, for sure.
You got single moms, and I've dealt with these 4-play single moms. So it's like, okay, great. How do we take what we learned? Now that we have that, how do we help the next generation, teach them that same thing to carry it on?
Right. And it's just pretty, I mean, for me, like, with the kids, it's just always like, I don't know, I try to lead by example. Like, everything, like, all right, y'all. So we got cut off, but we finishing this up. We didn't want to cut this off. Content was too good to let it go. So what we was just talking about is like, how do we influence the next generation, and how do we pass on like the things that we learning to them? My answer to that was just like, everything you got to do got to be like lead by example. The kids now, from the kids that I work with, like the kids that look like us, the black and brown kids, like they've been told so many lies from so many different places that they not believing nothing that you're saying. Like, you could walk in and say, oh yeah, I want you to do this, do that, but if you're not showing them, if you're not showing up for them, if you're not doing the little things, like, for my kids, like, if they got a football game, if they got a soccer game, I'm there. Like, I'm making time to get to the game. So it's like, when I tell you I care about you, you can't say, oh, they're just talking. No, when you look over to the crowd, your parents might not be there, but I'm sitting right there in the front row. You know what I'm saying? When Bal made it to the championship a couple years ago, I had worked in with the coach. I had made my way to the field. I was out there with them. They dude catching crap. I'm on the sideline stretching, but like, let's just do this. Like, I felt like I was part of the team. So it's like, when we get into the school, and now I'm telling you to do your work, I'm telling you, hey man, go to class. Oh, that's dead. I ain't gonna disrespect him. So it's like, they starting to learn that respect. So now I take that, and the way you respect me, now translate that over into life and how you respect other people. Like, even though they might not have been there for you, how, like, whatever I'm doing, but the way you treat me with respect is how you treat other adults, it's how you treat other people around you, and kind of just growing it from there. Like, it just kind of got to be organic though. And this, man, like, those kids love you. So it's like, just building an organic relationship, you can get anywhere with the youth, I feel like.
Oh, and you said organic. I think that's what it is. You got to be real with these kids. I think, especially these coaches in football, not in football, just coaches in general and teachers, they try to have that old school way with this new generation, and you can't do that with them. You can't, you can't be so hard, straight, get it to them like they was back in the day with us, or even before us. It don't work like that with these kids. These kids got emotions and a lot of feelings these days, right? And they, if you tell them something they don't like it, they will really walk off on you. So I think you got to be, they don't give a damn no more. So you got to be real with them. And I think that was my mindset when I was coaching at Sacred Heart. Being real with these guys, being transparent, being there for them. Man, that kid from Arizona, you know what I used to do? I used to pick him up from the board, go to practice at Sacred Heart, right? We get out at 5 o'clock. I used to drive him all the way to our rival school, St. Ignatius, because we had a good program there. With shout out to Murray Athletics. They were allowing us to lift in their facility. So I don't know if SI knew that, but we was there every night. So and that's all the way from downtown all the way to the Sunset. And then check this out, Dave. Then I took my kid all the way back to Richmond.
Man.
At night, got home at 10 o'clock back in Burlingame. So that was Tuesdays and Thursdays for about a year and a half, just doing that. Why did I do this? You probably asked me, why did I do that? Because I wanted to show him I was in the grind with him.
Right.
I'm over here telling them I didn't make it. I didn't make it to the, I played at college at San Mateo, but my mentals wasn't right to actually continue it on. Mm-hmm. I was mentally strong enough to go through that adversity to continue on my career, because my career would have been different. But that's why I take it. It's like, okay, let me show this kid that you got to be mentally strong to continue this. And so I was doing that. While my firstborn was pregnant, my first baby was coming, so the question is like, all right, why would you do that? Because I cared for the kid. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a dad like me. Right. If I didn't do that, he wouldn't get that extra work in.
Right.
So my mindset was like, let me show them that, kind of like what you said, I'm in the grind with you. I used to make lunch every game day, every Fridays for the kids. Mm-hmm. The kids I was training, because they was trying to get to the next level. Well, you got to eat right.
And little things like that make all the difference. People don't get it. A simple meal, feeding a kid, it'd be like, they might not have had a good meal like that in 2 weeks. Like, you know what I'm saying? You doing that, it's like, oh yeah, I'm fucking with that. That's my guy. Like, I'm listening to what he got to tell me. As long as he continuing to, look out.
Looking to support. Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, and that's why I tell people, like, don't just get into the work with kids because it's like, oh, it sounds like, if you're not, especially the kids that come from these neighborhoods, babe, you feel more all over Sunnydale. Like, if you're going to work with these kids, if you're going to take this on, you got to be all in. And
you got to be all in.
And it's like, it's going to be nice where you might stay after. Like, you might have to get home late. It might be some sacrifice with your own, but if you're not willing to be all the way in, they don't need more people like half stepping it. They need people that's all the way in. If not, if you can't do it, like I got friends that's like, bro, I don't know, I couldn't do that. That's cool. Like, it's other ways for you to support. But if you be in this, I feel like you got to be all the way in this.
Man, great. You 100%. Because look, man, the kids that I was actually helping, those are kids. Not only was I training, I was giving them food. I caught heat for that though. I got heat for that because, like, man, why aren't you doing that for all the kids? Well, all the other kids got lunch. Right. Parents do give them lunch, right? These kids are not eating during game day. And I know that, I can kind of relate to that feeling, not having all of that stuff. So it's like, okay, what can I do to help benefit them, Dev? And it's like, okay, you got to show them that. And now, this is the crazy thing. All the kids I was doing that for, I could call all of them today and still talk to them, because it's not about football with me with them, right? That's what we're doing. That's the mindset we was in. But it's like, how do I be there for you when you're 20, 30, when you got kids? Like, I want to have that relationship for you after, yes, I want to get you to play college football. Yes, I want you to go to the NFL. But if that doesn't happen, I got other opportunities for you. I got other business for you that can help you, which would help. That did help bring a lot of kids. But at the same time, it's like, how can I help you still when you're not playing football?
Right.
Because then the kids be like, damn, you just using me for football, right? You just using me for this. Nah, man, I'm using you because I care about you. And I don't want you, because I don't want you to go through the same stuff that a lot of us went through. So that, that was the main point for that too.
That's what's up. And before we wrap it up, so like you said, you done took a kid from the city and he even went D1, you know what I'm saying? So, but this is a question I talked about on one of my early podcasts that I had. Yeah. I touched on it with Bear, and shout out to Coach K. I talked about it with them, and then we also talked about it on with Coach Black. So it's like, I'd love to get your take on it too. why would all of the talents going back even to when we was in school past us when we was young and the people that was in high school when we was in elementary school and stuff like that, like why aren't city kids getting the recognition that they deserve, and why in the last 10 years has only been a handful of D1
Yeah.
players when there's been a lot of talent?
That's a great question. That's a great question, Dev. I think what it really is, and this is my opinion, you know, everybody got an opinion, but my opinion is it's the mindset. It's literally the mindsets. Like, what are they feeding their brain? You know, what is allowing them to continue on? For me, I'm talking about me. My mindset wasn't there. You know, going to GST after a knee injury, like my mindset was still party mode. You know, mess with females, and do this. So my mindset was there. But imagine how many other kids like us at that same mindset, right? So, it's the mindset. Being in the city, right? Being in the city. There's so much things going on. There's parties every week, right? So definitely the mindset. If I didn't take that kid, you know, I know he's probably working out too, but you know, if I don't feed those kids, if I don't feed the kids, or if I don't train them and tell them to come to work out, they're not going to do it. Right. So I had to go above and beyond to kind of force it. But I think that's a kind of a problem, because then now it's like they don't really want it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying all of them.
And they
right.
become dependent.
Yeah, exactly. They can't, exactly. They want to be dependent on me telling, because Zach texted me saying get there or this and that. So I don't think that, you know, one of the big things is like, okay, you know, my mindset is there. I want to go D1. Everybody wants to go D1, but am I actually doing the little things that people are doing in Texas? Am I doing the little things that people are doing in Alabama and Ohio that are actually allowing them to get one? Am I doing double work? Am I lifting? Am I staying after practice? Right? Am I watching film longer? Am I sending out all my tips to all the coaches? Am I getting my grades right? Am I eating right? Am I working out as much as I can? Am I seeing the teachers that I need to see? Right? Am I going to the party or not going to the party? Right? So I think that's what it comes in as far as the city. There's just so much thing going on. There's everything in the city. We have everything. We have it all. Right? So, you know, to my mindset, it's like, where is the kid's mindset? Because the people that did are successful, right? They had their mind right. You know, we could talk about the Sarte, Yarn Way. I know you know the Sarte. You know, one of a kind, but his mindset was right to continue to go to Cal and to continue to do great things. Now, there's other kids that do have the mindset, right? But they don't have the environment.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to kind of help create in the football, like bring a football environment to see, because there's a lot of great basketball environments. There's no football environment. So that's one of my things. Because look, to get a scholarship, man, it's not just about getting a scholarship. Those coaches that are there, they got to feed their kids off of you.
Yeah, for sure.
So it like, you got two boys, right? You a recruiter. If you come into the city and there's a kid working harder, got better grades in LA than up here, why would they try to risk their career the way they feed their kids on somebody that's not fully committed?
Yeah.
You know, so that you can kind of go ahead.
And that's a good point, because to go to the mindset question point you made first, it's interesting because like I said, I was with the Bal football team a couple years ago, and they played a team from Seattle. A team flew up here. They was the 4th ranked team in Seattle. They smoked back. It was like 77 to.
I remember that.
Or 14 or something. And one of my guys, a little goofy dude, he like, nah, bro, I got to see what's going on. So he walked up to one of them and was like, bro, so what y'all doing that y'all just so good like this? Like, and he like, man, I'm gonna just tell you the truth. Like, man, look around. Like, it's sunny outside right now. Y'all got all of this stuff going on. He said in Seattle, it rained all the time. Like, so all we do is we do our homework and we be in the training. Like, we can't go, we don't have beaches, we don't have all of the like stuff that we can just go to. It'd be so ugly all the time that there is none all of this. So he was like, we don't have no distractions. He said the biggest distraction for us is after we get done training, we're gonna go play video games for a couple hours before our moms can pick us up or something. But it ain't no, oh, I'm gonna catch the bus to the mall, go get at the girls, and then we're gonna go to a movie, and then let's go to the eat. Like he said, they don't do none of that. They stay at the school, it's raining. What do they? So it's like, and it's like, even if it's by choice or by force, like they still aren't all the way in. My students, like, they love football. They might say, and I really do think some of them love it.
Yeah.
But it's like, they also love the girls. They also love the video game. They also love just effing off with their friends sometimes.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of harder, like for the schools I work, the SFUSD, like don't really have as much money, but I really wish that we could like travel a little bit more with the teams. Like take them to these other places, like you said, Texas, or where they really seeing these kids that's like, oh, this is for real. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not even working. Cause like, bro, I'm telling you, when I was hooping, we was hooping. It's like, okay, cool. We doing cool. Like, we was good amongst the people. And then you go to Midi and see Aaron Gordon. And it's like, I'm a freshman and I'm in the stands and he playing varsity. I'm like, dang, this dude, bro, they like, he in your grade. I'm like, he's 6'8". They like, yeah, well, he's 13. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, from that moment on, it's like, oh, okay, so I'm only 5'9" at the time. Like, in case this don't work out, like, then that's when I start really getting into school and getting my grades right. But you got to see it first.
Yeah.
Everybody that's around us, except for like Josh and Taylor, that's just massively tall. We all about 5'8" to 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
So it's like we all right up in there somewhere. So it's like looking at that, it's like, okay, like if I get a little bit better, I could be better than him. We about the same. But it's different animals all over that we're not knowing about.
I think that's what you just said too, though, man. Because thinking about now, let's just think about our city, you know, being gentrified. Now, all the top, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, you ain't messing with the city, right? Because we got all the talent, you ain't messing with us. Right. But now with the gentrification, everybody's moved out to Stockton, everyone's moved out to Antioch. Now you've seen their programs take off.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's the environment too, mixed in with the mindset, you know, because like, let's be honest, there's probably one good athlete at every school, and there's billions of schools in San Francisco high schools. So
that's also there's so many schools because it's like everybody it's like no school is considered a powerhouse because everybody want to go play against this dude and that. We ain't get it together where it's like, okay, everybody going to RIT or everybody going to SH or everybody going to the public bow. We gonna do it like this. If you could get all your top talent together, like how you said in Antioch, like right now you go to these certain schools and you know what schools to go to if you're an athlete.
Yeah.
There is no like set school for like every few years to change. Like when we was young, we was the hot hoop team. Now Reardon then took off. In a few years, it could be SI, and then it could be back to SA. Like it's a circle because there's no consistency on this school is dominating our city, so now we could take them somewhere else. If we had a school like that, maybe people would be more willing to put some money towards traveling other places. It's right now. I don't even know what team I would even pick to say it'll be a different school for every sport.
It will.
It's not like one school is like, oh yeah, they basketball, football, baseball, they the school. Like this is who puts us on the map. Like so maybe that's also a problem. I don't know. Like maybe linking up a little bit, and I know everybody want to play against each other and get they shine, but instead of getting 25, how about y'all both get 20, and then let's just see if y'all can help each other get there, like, you know? But that go back to the earlier point of working together more than trying to do it yourself. Yeah.
Sure, 100%.
So I don't know, man. That's just like it's such a tricky like what do you think? What role you think coaching play? Like, do you think like coaching can do a better job of like getting their guys out there, or do you think like they doing what they can right now?
I do, because I'm a coach, so I do think all the coaches are doing as much as they can. I think there could be more though. I do think there could be more as far as you know, togetherness. Like I said, man, there's like bringing people together, like bringing programs together, starting a program, you know, linking up. Because I think that's the biggest thing that's missing, you know, and then actually not having that ego. A lot of coaches in this coaching game, Dev, got huge egos. It's crazy, man. Like I didn't realize it till I got to being a coach, and I just naturally had one because that's personality. But I don't mean to be like that. But people really, it's my way or the highway type deal when it comes to this coaching stuff.
Right.
And it's like that's a huge problem too. You know, that is a huge problem because if you feel a certain way about a kid, you know, your ego's in the way, that's not going to benefit that kid. And that kid's not going to like you back and forth. Right. You know, so I've seen a lot of that. So, you know, coaching can be a little better. But at the end of the day, it's got to be the kid. The kid got to want it. Yeah. You know, yes, the coaching could give, I could give the coach, you know, the player all the X's and O's, the drills, the training. But when he's away from me, what is he doing? Mm-hmm. Right. So that's the question. Like, how bad does the kid want it? You know, and so that I think, and this is crazy. Check this out, there. All of the top talents, you know how you saw in football, all of them are going out of the city, from the city.
Yeah,
I can tell you right now, Sarah High School got one of all the like they got probably like 3 to 5 players from the city that are a top talent.
Crazy, but they don't. It's like the city. You don't feel like you could do it here, so you gotta leave.
You got to leave, but why? Why? Why does a kid that's grown up in the city got to drive 25 miles to Sarah? You know, and now that I'm a parent now, I'm gonna be honest with you, now that I'm a parent, that's attractive. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, those schools.
I remember, bro. I remember when we was in high school, and it's like Taylor and Josh was killing. Like they was dominating. I remember we went to Arizona. Taylor, I think, won MVP of the tournament or whatever.
I remember that. I remember that.
Like the hassle it was to get this recruiting shit going. And I'm like, what am I missing here? Like they 6'6", athletic. Josh was super skilled, had the dribbling, could shoot, could do. I'm like, what is not working? Like, and so it's like that. Like you said, we got kids now, so these are decisions that, I mean, it's not right now, but they coming at some point. It's like, and I remember a coach in Arizona came to Coach Barber and was like, yeah, man, like, how are they not already committed somewhere? He like, man, he like, do you think I could help out? Like, maybe I might know some people you don't know. And I remember Coach Barber was like, hey, man, listen, whatever my kids got to do to get to the next level, whoever it is got to introduce them to that, I don't care. I just want to see my guys win. Like, he was kind of standing behind us, but I was listening. And I remember being like, damn, like, that's what's up. Like, you know, like, a lot of coaches wouldn't be like that. It'd be like, you ain't gonna take my player and put his name on. Now, I don't know how much the guy actually helped or not, but he offered to help out. Like you said, with an ego, it would have been like, shit, you ain't helping my kids. Like, I'm gonna make this name off these two smart players. But it's like, I don't know. So like, seeing that and seeing all of the different, and luckily they both did get to go play D1, well deserved. But it's like, you know, but we not that tall, bro. Is our kids gonna get to 6'6"? I don't know. Like, we gotta see. So it's like, you gotta put them in the best. Our kids gonna have to be in the best situation. They ain't gonna have that to fall back on. Like, you know, somebody was gonna get them.
Yeah.
Like, if our kids, if they not in the like perfect situation with the perfect everything around them, they might not be able to get that next level call, no matter how much time we put into training them. And that's just realistic. If they don't, you know. So it's like, I don't know. So like you said, it's kind of attractive, but it's like, even though I didn't move out the cities because this is what we have been talking about it. All our kids gonna go to the schools in the city, what that's gonna look like because we just think so far ahead. Those are questions it's tough, but I don't know. Hopefully things look a little different in the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah, no, you know, kind of like what you just talked about, right? You know, they get the scholarships, but you know, it's how bad is the kid want it though, right? Like, you know, Josh Taylor, those are my brothers. They got there, right? But then there's stories like Damian Lillard, you know, went to Weber State, he made it. CJ McCollum. So there are stories out there how bad people want it. But you 100% right. Like, they got to be in that perfect position mixed with their internal drive. It has to be a good fit for that to kind of.
Another thing that'd be, how is it that in the city we get no luck, and then if you go right over to Oakland, they got a bunch of people, like, not like, maybe not all that made it to the league, but they got a bunch of people in the G League. They got a bunch of people that went D1. Like,
they push it though. They push it. They make it. So in the city, they don't make, you know, football and basketball a priority. They don't push it out there. Like, this is the top thing going on. They only do that one time out of the whole season, and that's for the Bruce Mahoney. And that's because that's a big culture. That's a big history. That's why that one game, football, basketball, is huge. Baseball. But over there in Oakland, every Friday nights at McClima's is lit.
Turned up, yeah.
It's turned up because that's what they got, kids off the street, and it's like, it means something to them. Right? You know, going to our basketball, football games, even though our games was pretty good, but as I was kind of coaching there, seeing it how it is now, nobody supports the teams.
And that's something that Black touched on, because when he was on here, he talked about, you know, they won a state championship. And he said he just was kind of like on the way back picturing like the movie where it's like all of these people out here screaming. And he said it was literally like 6, 7 parents that was there. Like, they might have like a banner, but he said it was like no type of support. And he was like, it wasn't like he was like disappointed, but it didn't take away from it. But it was just like, damn, like, this is all our kids get for doing something like this. So it's like, I didn't think about it like that. But like you said, Friday in Oakland, everybody know this is what we're doing. Friday night in the city, it's 10 things going on. You might stop by the kid game if
100%. And look, Antioch, you live in Antioch. Look, Friday, Antioch, Pittsburgh turned up. There ain't nothing else to do out there.
Yeah, they at the game.
They're at the game. So I think the environment where we're at, but I think we got a big, huge part of that too, man. Like, if we really push it, Keep supporting each other, doing what you're doing, like just like you talking about, being there support, like what you did, going there, stretching kids, like having that support. Let me ask you a question. Do you do something like have like if kids go to school? I mean, if they like turn in a homework or do something, they go to the game, like give them extra credit. Because I know some teachers do that. Is that something you do?
So the kids that I work with, so like it's different. Like I work with a set group of freshman students, and the way I work with them is like I work with them in my own class, and then then I help them out in their other classes.
Okay.
So what I do is all my students, if you get a 3.0, then I buy you a burrito.
Damn. So From where? From Farlito?
No, either there's two of them right there by the So you get to make your choice. You want the yellow spot, or because these kids is picky nowadays. So you walk up, they be like, "This ain't the burrito I want." So you got to let them make which you want. But they get a burrito, and if you get a 3.5, you get a burrito and a large drink.
Okay, Dev.
So then when I first did it, I'm thinking like, okay, that thing turned from 2-3 kids to like at the end of this year, my first year, I was getting like 10 to 12 burritos a grading period. So just kind of like motivate them. I didn't like a good burrito, fat thing, you know what I'm saying? You get a 3.5, you could get 2 meats. So like all that type of stuff is like, that was just coming out of my pocket. And like you said, like $100 and something on the Friday, but that's the grading period only every 6 weeks. So if you know what I'm saying, it's not like life or death or nothing. It's just but it's a good gesture where these kids still, now they seniors, they still be like, man, they remember you was buying us burritos, bro. Like we got to get back to that. Like that type of stuff is stuff that they remember. And that's just how you kind of get in where you fit in as far as showing them, hey man, I come out of my own pocket. Like, hey, it don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my kids had a baby shower. We pulled up, bunch of gifts, we there. We birthday party. I done been invited to some birthday dinners. Their parents be like, Devin, I would love if you could come. Hey, me and my fiance be wherever you need us to be. Like,
wow.
So we just around, like just showing them you got me here in your life now. Like I'm not somebody that I worked at Bal 3 years ago, left for 2 years. Now I'm back at Bal. All of the kids know they can still reach out. However you need to, I'm here. So it's like,
I love that, man. That's the same vibe I be on. I tell the parents that too. Y'all stuck with me.
Right.
Y'all stuck with me. I like that.
Hey man, but listen though, I appreciate you coming on, my brother. Sir. This great content. I love every second of it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna definitely get you back on. We about to go on week 4. Later on, closer to week 9 or 8, something we're gonna be back on, talk some more football, talk some more life. But I love these type of talks, man. I appreciate it. Much love, bro.
I appreciate you, Dev, man. Like I said, I've known you for a while. One thing I always respect about you, you are always convicted about what you say. You don't, it's one way when it comes out of your mouth, and that's something I always respect. Either you like it or you don't like it, so I do appreciate everything you're doing, not only for the kids, setting this up, bringing a lot of businesses together, but at the same time, man, pushing a voice for the city that I think we fully believe in, man. So I appreciate you for having me on.
Definitely, bro.
All right, brother.
All right.